I laughed at my boss's disabled daughter and I got fired for it. To get revenge, I married her. I was 3 months into my sales job at a regional advertising firm, still on orientation, making $42,000 a year. The owner rarely visited our office. He'd been setting up satellite locations across the state for the past year. But he showed up for our quarterly retreat, and so did his daughter Kenzie. My coworker Juniper pulled me aside that morning and said, "Kenzie works at the satellite office. You probably won't interact much, but just be nice to her." I thought that was obvious. I'm nice to everyone. Kenzie had a disability that affected her speech and motor skills. She seemed to have childlike mannerisms and struggled with expressing herself. The only interaction we had early on was at the coffee station. I watched her struggle with getting the lid on and asked if she needed help. She thanked me, then mentioned her dad made her drink coffee even though she hated it because she had to stay alert. I made her coffee, handed it over, felt like a good person, and moved on. The retreat was mostly team-building exercises, puzzle races, trust falls, the usual corporate stuff. Then came the final activity, the one everyone actually cared about. Our boss gave us a list of potential clients. We had to pick 3 and create pitches to attract them. Pictures, slogans, jingles, whatever. The job was sales and advertising, so creativity mattered. Here's what made it competitive. At previous retreats, the owner would put clients he was close to signing on that list. Impress him, and you might land an account worth $50,000 in commission. I went with a jingle for a restaurant chain, rhymed some words, recorded it on my phone. It was silly, but catchy. My group gave feedback. We polished it. I recorded the final version. After submissions closed, we gathered in the conference room. The owner went through each pitch one by one. Some were incredible and got tons of compliments. Others were terrible, clearly rushed by senior managers who didn't care, and we all laughed about them. Nobody seemed upset. It felt like fair game. When my jingle played, I got mixed feedback. Some liked it, others said it was too cheesy. I took it with a smile. After that, I felt comfortable sharing my thoughts on other presentations. Then a drawing came up. Colored pencils, shaky lines, for the exact same restaurant I'd chosen. It looked primitive. Without thinking, I said, "Well, at least my jingle was better than that. Did a 3-year-old draw this?" And laughed. Absolute silence. I was confused because people had been joking all afternoon. Instead, a few people looked at me like I was disgusting. The owner's face turned red. "Well, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself, maybe?" My boss immediately whispered, "Go to your desk right now." As I gathered my things, I noticed Kenzie in the corner, red-faced, starting to cry. The drawing was hers. I went to my desk in shock. 20 minutes later, my boss came over with a box. "Pack your things." The owner said, "You're exactly the kind of person he'd never hire. You're fired." I was humiliated, broke, destroyed my career over one stupid joke. But here's what nobody knew. Earlier that day, before the activity started, Kenzie had found me in the hallway. She'd overheard me practicing my jingle during lunch and asked if she could give feedback. I said sure, expecting nothing useful. She told me the rhyme scheme was off, that I should flip 2 lines to make it catchier, and that the restaurant chain preferred emotional appeals over humor-based marketing. She was right about everything. My final jingle was 10 times better because of her notes. Kenzie was brilliant. She just expressed herself differently, and I judged a drawing instead of seeing the strategy behind it. 2 weeks after getting fired, after applying to 60 jobs with no responses, I called the office and asked for Kenzie's number. The receptionist was suspicious, but gave it to me. I called her, apologized, told her I was an idiot who made assumptions based on appearances instead of recognizing substance, that her feedback had been the smartest thing anyone said to me at that retreat. She was quiet for a moment, then said softly, "I appreciated you helping with my coffee. Most people just stare." We started talking regularly, then texting, then meeting for coffee. She switched to tea since she hated coffee, then dating. Kenzie had a degree in consumer psychology. Her drawings weren't crude. They were deliberately simplified to test if people focused on execution or strategy. Her dad used them to weed out employees who valued presentation over substance. I'd failed that test spectacularly. 6 months later, I proposed. Last month, we got married. Yesterday, Kenzie's dad called me, said he'd been watching my LinkedIn, saw I was doing freelance consulting, asked if I'd come back as VP of sales with a 6-figure salary. I put him on speaker so Kenzie could hear. She looked at me and smiled. I told him, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm too busy running my own company right now." He paused. "What company?" "The marketing firm Kenzie and I started together. We just signed our 3rd client this week. Contract's worth $180,000. Silence. He hung up. Kenzie squeezed my hand and said, "I told you that drawing would pay off eventually."